welcome back. Today is a Saturday and I'm actually going to do a book haul vlog because when I tell y'all I bought a lot of books this week, I bought a lot of books and it's just literally no way I'm going to be able to get all that footage. There's absolutely no way I can show you all the book haul with me also doing my weekly book review. So we're just gonna actually jump into the book review because I'm only trying to make this like 15 minutes because y'all know I really try to keep my vlogs between 35 minutes. So I know I told y'all earlier in the video that I had been reading books this week. I managed to read, I'm going to say 3.5 books because there's one book I'm actually reading, but I'm not finished. And I don't really know if I count Sunday as the beginning of another week or Monday. Usually in my calendar, I count Monday as the beginning of another week. So I'm filming this on Saturday. So in the event that I do finish this book, it'll just be in next week's reading vlog because yeah, I ain't got time for that. But so let's jump into it. So this week I actually read 2 physical books. One book is already out, which is The Missing Girl. I was telling y'all before, that is an art, but it's really not an art because it's already out, but they still released the art to me. So the first, no, I'm gonna just go in order and then I'll tell y'all the ratings. So the first book that I read this week was The Kind Worth Saving. So last week I read 9 Lies by Peter Swanson, and I was really trying to see if I really liked his books or if I really liked his writing style. So really I was just trying to see if I actually liked his writing style. You know, sometimes you have to read an author's backlist a little bit to see if like this is like a writing style that really resonates with me. So I ended up buying this a while ago. So I just decided, okay, well, let me just try to read another one of his works because I'm not really sure if I like his writing style or not. So his writing style is like 2025 meets Columbo in like 1970. That's how his writing style is. So basically this book is about a former teacher. He turned a private investigator, and one day in walks one of his students that he taught years ago in high school, and she is wanting him to investigate her husband because she thinks he's cheating. However, during his investigation, the things that are happening within the book is bringing back some chilling memories, and he's trying to figure out why are all these people dying around her and surrounding him. So he ends up teaming with this lady that he was investigating from a previous case. He ends up teaming up with her for her to help him. And the ending just was really crazy. So like basically like his writing style is not bad. However, some of the information that he gives you in the book is very confusing. So the whole time though, he does really have you turning the pages and he has you thinking you actually know what's going on. But then when you get to the end, you're like, what? And it's literally like psychological twist like all through the book. So there are some very minimal plot twists. It's very little character. Well, it's some character development, but it's very little character development. It really reads like a Columbo episode. And it's very slow paced. It's like slow to medium paced, but you really have to be in the right headspace in order to read his books because they read very slow. And then it pretty much picks up towards like maybe 60% of the book. So he really has you thinking though that you know what's going on. And then when you get to the ending of the book, you're like, okay, that was not even in my frame of mind of thinking. So right now, I'm going to say I still want to continue to read some of his works because I really am trying to understand like his writing style. It's like I like the book, but it's like I'm just not understanding why the ending happened that way. So I did give this book a 3.5 because I really loved the storyline and I really love the attention to detail that Peter Swanson puts in his books. However, I think that when it comes to the ending, he just drops the ball for me. The ending, the way this ended was not how I expected. So I gave this a 3.5. The next physical book that I read was In Our Shoes by Brianna Holt. This is actually, I literally researched her on, I'm always researching people on the internet, but I actually researched her on the internet. I think this is the only book that I saw that she actually has written. This is called In Our Shoes. And pretty much this book is really about understanding and addressing the misstigmatization and biases of the Black woman in America. And then also not only just addresses like the Black woman, but anyone that is a person of color, whether you are a male or female. So I like the structure of her book. Her book was really broken down into like chapters of like her experiences. So like, for instance, like chapter 1 is called It's Different in My Body. Chapter 2, Leave the Box Breaks for the Black Girls. So she actually has different experiences for each chapter. And basically one of the things that I did like about the book was that she incorporated like her experiences of being a Black woman in corporate America, as well as in relationships. However, one of the things I really didn't understand was that she, in her book, so this is like a spoiler, well, not really a spoiler, but in her book, she kind of identifies how when she was in interracial relationships, how they just really didn't understand her as a Black woman and pretty much was passive aggressive towards the things that affected her as a Black woman. And however, through the book, what I really kind of scratched my head because I'm like, why would you continue to get into relationships with Caucasians if you already had one bad experience of them not understanding like where you're coming from as a Black woman and not understanding their biases and their white privilege. So it's like then you jump into a second relationship and you expect it to be different. I was kind of like, oh, okay. So, however, if you also pick up this book, just wanted to let you know, this book really reads like a research paper. So she basically addresses her experiences. She incorporates her experiences, and then she gives you statistical data on the experiences that she experiences. Which that was something I actually didn't like. I pretty much like books that kind of expound on the experiences and not so much read like it's a research paper. And when I say it reads like a research paper, I can give you an example. I can actually give you an example of what I mean by like, it kind of reads like a research paper. Disappointingly, the troubles that affected my mother almost 30 years ago are currently affecting Black millennial and Gen Z women today. Just 5 years before I was born, Black women in 1990 had a 3.3 times greater chance of dying from pregnancy-related complications than white women. Today, women are still 3 to 4 times more likely to die from a pregnancy-related complication than white women. And then it drops down. Compared to white women, the maternal mortality ratio for Black women was 2.4 times greater in 1940, 3.6 times greater in 1950, and it goes on and on. And throughout all of the chapters, she pulls very credible statistical data on like the things that she has experienced, whether it's in relationships, whether it's in the job market, whether it's just social media and all the things like that, which really makes it a great book. However, I really just didn't enjoy all the statistics because it became like very, very redundant throughout the entire book. And then I just kind of felt like I was taking a African-American history class more than listening to her experiences just as a Black woman and, you know, what that meant to her. So I actually gave this a 3.5. However, I just did not enjoy all the statistics, and that's just me. The next book that I read was The Missing Half, and that was by, I think, Ashley Flower. So I put that up on the screen because I do not have that physical book. So that book, I actually gave I really want to say between a 3.7 and a 4-star. However, when you go on Goodreads to rate them, you can only do 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5-star. You can't really rate them. You can only rate them like a 3.75 on like StoryGraph. However, I really don't think it's a true 4. I think maybe like a 3.75. And the book was interesting. So The Missing Half is about a girl named Nicole. She ends up teaming with Jules' sister, the other girl that went missing 7 years ago, along with her sister. They end up teaming up to see if they can uncover some things that the detectives might have missed in order to solve their sister's mystery disappearances. So throughout the book, there were so many plot twists. When I tell y'all, when I literally thought that I was actually like on it, I wasn't on it. And it seemed, the author, like she literally made everyone seem like, okay, this could really be the person that had a hand in the disappearance of both of the girls. But when I tell y'all, the ending blew my mind. The ending just blew my mind, only because what I thought actually happened initially, it ended up happening. But then I was thinking, well, maybe that's not really maybe that's not really what happened. But I really love the plot twist. I love the character development, and I love the friendship that Nicole ended up developing with Jules' sister throughout the entire book. So one of the things that resonate with me is like grief. Grief hits people in like so many different types of ways. And Nicole, she struggled with a lot of substance abuse and a lot of just childhood trauma. And then the people that she needed there to support her wasn't there because they were grieving themselves. So her mom, their mother, she ends up remarrying. Basically, she's trying to like just wipe away her life. And then her dad just no longer even wants to talk about Casey being missing. So I gave this one a 3.75 4-star because the book read extremely slow. It was extremely slow at first. It really wasn't fast paced. Like I like mystery suspense books. I really like mystery suspense books that like they move really fast. But this wasn't that. This was like a very slow read. And then around 60%, it literally just takes off. So I really love the ending of the book, which is really why it didn't get a 3.5. It got like a 3.7. But I just kind of felt like there were some questions that were just unanswered. And I'm just like, the ending was just so quick. I kind of felt like the ending was a little bit too rushed. And I understand that the author had to end the book some way, but it was a little bit too rushed. However, it is a book that I would recommend that people read because the book was actually really good. It was actually my first book that I've actually read of hers. So I would like to read more of her works to see if I actually like her writing style or not. However, y'all know I am addicted to my J.D. Robb, C.J. Box, Harlan Coben, Linda Castillo, S.A. Cosby. I'm like addicted to my comfort authors. So that is pretty much the ending of today's video. And if you stay to the end of the video, put book emoji in the comments or leave me a comment. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe my content. And I will be back this week with another reading video vlog. So until next time, thanks for watching. Bye.